The town of Willow Creek was known for its quaint charm. It was a place where children played freely, and laughter echoed through the streets. At the heart of Willow Creek stood Mr. Mack's toy factory, a towering building of brick and glass. It was a source of wonder and joy for the children. Mr. Mack, with his twinkling eyes and warm smile, was a beloved figure. He was a man who seemed to understand the language of childhood. His toys were unlike any other. They were imbued with a certain magic, a magic that drew children in. Parents would often find themselves drawn to the factory, spending their hard-earned money on Mr. Mack's creations. But beneath the surface of this idyllic facade, a darkness lurked. A darkness that would soon cast a long shadow over Willow Creek. At first, the changes were subtle. A shift in the children's behavior. Their laughter became tinged with a hollow echo. Their eyes, once bright and full of life, seemed to cloud over with a strange emptiness. The children of Willow Creek were changing. Parents whispered amongst themselves, concerned about their children's unusual behavior. They noticed a growing obsession with the toys from Mr. Mack's factory. The children would spend hours on end playing with the toys, their faces illuminated by an eerie, unnatural glow. There were rumors of children talking to their toys, their voices taking on strange inflections. They would repeat phrases that made no sense. The once innocent playthings now seemed sinister. The once vibrant playground was now a place of unease. Timmy was a bright and cheerful boy. He was known for his infectious laughter and boundless energy. But after receiving a toy soldier from Mr. Mack's factory, Timmy changed. His laughter ceased, and his eyes, once sparkling with mischief, became vacant and cold. Timmy's transformation was the most dramatic. It sent shockwaves through the community. Timmy's parents watched in horror as their son became withdrawn and distant. He would spend hours staring at the toy soldier, his face expressionless, his body rigid. It was as if he were in a trance. Timmy's mother, "Timmy, honey, please talk to me. What's wrong?" At times, Timmy would mutter to himself, his words barely audible, yet laced with a chilling intensity. One evening, Timmy's mother tried to take the toy soldier away. She was met with a ferocity she had never seen in her son. Timmy's mother. "Timmy, no, let go of the toy," Timmy snarled, his eyes blazing with an unnatural light. He scratched and kicked, his tiny body filled with an inhuman strength. Timmy's parents were at their wits' end. The once loving and playful boy was gone, replaced by a cold and distant stranger. Dr. Thomas Larkin was a man of science and reason. He had dedicated his life to understanding the complexities of the human mind, but nothing could have prepared him for what he was about to encounter. The townspeople turned to him in desperation, hoping he could provide answers. Dr. Larkin listened intently as the parents described their children's bizarre behavior. He examined the toys, his brow furrowed in concentration. He couldn't shake the feeling that something was amiss. There was an unsettling aura surrounding these toys. It sent shivers down his spine. "Dr. Larkin, these toys, there's something not right about them. I need to investigate further." He decided to visit Mr. Mack's factory. The factory was imposing, its towering smokestacks spewing black smoke into the sky. The air was thick with the smell of burning wood and something else, something acrid and metallic. It made Dr. Larkin's stomach churn. As he stepped inside, he was greeted by an eerie silence. The only sound was the rhythmic whirring of machinery. He made his way to Mr. Mack's office, his heart pounding in his chest. He knocked on the door, his knuckles rapping against the dark, polished wood. "Dr. Larkin? Mr. Mack? Are you in there?" The door creaked open and Dr. Larkin took a deep breath, preparing himself for whatever lay ahead. "Come in!" The voice was surprisingly high-pitched. It didn't match the imposing figure that Dr. Larkin had pictured in his mind. Mr. Mack was a small, wiry man with a nervous energy about him. He gestured for Dr. Larkin to take a seat. Dr. Larkin wasted no time in getting to the point. He questioned Mr. Mack about the toys, about the strange behavior exhibited by the children.
"Your accusations are absurd. My toys are made with love and care. They bring joy to children. There's nothing more to it."
Mr. Mack's demeanor shifted. His eyes narrowed, his smile fading into a cold, hard line. Dr. Larkin wasn't convinced. He pressed further, his suspicions growing with every evasive answer. Suddenly, Dr. Larkin noticed something on the desk behind Mr. Mack. A book lay open, its pages filled with strange symbols and incantations. He recognized the language. It was ancient Sumerian, a language he had studied extensively in his youth. The book was a grimoire, a textbook of dark magic. The truth was undeniable. Mr. Mack was no ordinary toy maker. He was a master of dark arts. Dr. Larkin alerted the authorities. They raided the factory that very night. They found a hidden workshop beneath the factory floor. It was filled with occult artifacts, strange contraptions, and jars containing unknown substances. It was a scene straight out of a nightmare. Mr. Mack was arrested. He was charged with child endangerment and practicing dark magic.
The townspeople rejoiced. They believed their nightmare was finally over. The children were freed from the spell of the toys. They slowly began to return to their former selves.
But their relief was short-lived. In the dead of night, Mr. Mack escaped from prison. He vanished without a trace, leaving behind nothing but a chilling silence and a lingering sense of dread. The news of Mr. Mack's escape spread through Willow Creek like wildfire. Fear and paranoia gripped the town once more. They knew that Mr. Mack would be back. They just didn't know when or where he would strike next. Months turned into years. The memory of Mr. Mack's reign of terror began to fade. Life in Willow Creek slowly returned to a semblance of normalcy. But Dr. Larkin couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. He couldn't silence the voice in the back of his mind that whispered, "He's coming back."
Then, a new toy shop opened on the outskirts of town. It was called Happy Hands Toys. The shop was filled with brightly colored toys that seemed to beckon to children. The toys were incredibly lifelike, their eyes twinkling with an unnatural light. Children flocked to the shop, drawn to the allure of the toys. Parents, eager to erase the memories of the past, readily opened their wallets. They believed that these toys were different. They believed that their children were safe.
Dr. Larkin, however, remained skeptical. He couldn't shake the feeling that history was about to repeat itself. He examined the toys, his heart sinking as he recognized the telltale signs of dark magic.
Dr. Larkin's worst fears were confirmed. The toys from Happy Hands Toys were imbued with the same dark magic as those from Mr. Mack's factory. Children began to exhibit the same disturbing behavior. Their eyes glazed over, their voices taking on a hollow, monotone quality. Dr. Larkin knew he had to act fast. He had to convince the townspeople that the nightmare had returned. He called a town meeting. He presented his findings, his voice trembling with urgency. He pleaded with them to see the truth. At first, the townspeople were reluctant to believe him. They didn't want to relive the horrors of the past. They wanted to believe that their children were safe. But as they looked into the eyes of their own children, they saw the undeniable truth. The children's eyes were vacant and cold. They were no longer the children they once knew. They were strangers, their souls corrupted by the dark magic that emanated from the toys.
The townspeople were outraged. They had been deceived. They had allowed their children to be put in harm's way. They marched on Happy Hands Toys, their anger palpable. They demanded answers. The shopkeeper, a hooded figure with piercing blue eyes, denied everything. But the townspeople weren't buying it. They stormed the shop, overturning shelves and smashing toys. They were determined to find the truth. In the back of the shop, they discovered a hidden door. It led to a secret workshop. It was identical to the one found beneath Mr. Mack's factory, filled with occult symbols, arcane texts, and bubbling cauldrons. And there, in the center of it all, stood Mr. Mack. He had returned, more powerful and more determined than ever before. A fierce battle ensued. The townspeople fought with a ferocity born of desperation and love for their children. They were determined to end Mr. Mack's reign of terror once and for all. They would not allow him to take their children again.
Dr. Larkin, armed with his knowledge of the occult, confronted Mr. Mack. He used his understanding of the dark arts to turn Mr. Mack's own magic against him. The air crackled with energy as the two forces collided. Finally, with a deafening blast of energy, Mr. Mack was subdued. The dark magic that had animated his evil deeds dissipated into the ether. The toys, stripped of their malevolent power, fell lifeless to the ground.
The townspeople wasted no time in destroying Happy Hands Toys. They burned the building to the ground. They vowed to remain vigilant, to protect their children from the forces of darkness that lurked in the shadows. In the aftermath of Mr. Mack's defeat, Willow Creek underwent a profound transformation. The town came together. They established safeguards to ensure that such horrors would never again plague their children. They understood that the battle against evil was never truly over. Parents became more discerning about the toys their children played with. They sought out toys that nurtured imagination and creativity, toys that were free from the taint of darkness. The children of Willow Creek rediscovered the simple joys of childhood. Their laughter carried on the wind, a testament to the resilience of the human spirit. And so, the tale of Mr. Mack's Toy Factory serves as a chilling reminder that even in the most idyllic of settings, darkness can lurk beneath the surface.